Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon to our Facebook family, and most of all to the STETHS family and the STETHS Alumni Group. As you can see, guys, on here, we have both the president and the vice president of the STETHS Alumni Group, which is Dr. Cesar Wright. That is here. Welcome, Doctor. And who is the vice president? And Donovan Wilson, president of the STETHS Alumni Group. So guys, tonight we just want to welcome them both to the platform. Together we rise, building our nation. And basically, they're going to just give us some update on the STETHS 60th anniversary. And I know they're going to start by talking about today, where it actually kicked off with a church service. And for those who have watched the service, we can use no other word than it's simple, amazing. So good afternoon, guys, and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ian. Cecil, how are you?
Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Donovan. Hey, Ian, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing pretty good, man. Yeah.
Cecil, why don't you jump right into it? Because our big moment is coming up. So it's going to be October 23rd all the time, right?
But I thought today's service set the stage. So I don't know if our illustrious host would like to probably have a quick recap on how that's going, how today went.
Well, I must say personally, for me, it was well put together. So I first want to congratulate the team. That's a production team behind everything. And today was just, as I say, simply amazing. The feed was perfect. Everyone that came on and showed up. We basically displayed true champions, work and integrity. We can see that the work was put into this church service today, which was just the beginning of what is to come. And with that, quickly, we just first want to give a roundup, for those who may be watching for the first time, just getting to know about the STETHS Alumni Group. So I'm not sure which one of you guys want to first take that on to just tell us a little bit more about the STETHS Alumni Group, you guys, the vision and the purpose of this, and basically just a quick overview.
Mr. President, you want to take this over?
I think we'll both have a piece of it. But, Cecil, I'm going to ask you to go first, especially given the global expansion, which is, what we really want, where this group is concerned.
Yeah, and I think thank you, Donovan. I think overall the STETHS Alumni USA Inc. is not a new group. I think we're in existence for 25 years, and I think Donovan and all the previous leaders and current leaders, in terms of Zania and the Donovan and Zani and all of the former executive group, all of those folks has been instrumental over the years in making sure that we're able to sustain the organization. But we're at a point now, and I think it's funny, Donovan, because the pandemic brought us here. The pandemic gave us a platform for the first time in terms of what we can do globally to connect through Zoom and other means, that we can reach people now in any parts of the world. So this association has gone from being mostly within the tri-state and a few people outside of the tri-state areas of 35 members to now having over almost 150 members and growing. And the idea for us is to continue to connect people from all parts of the world. So we have members now who lives in Canada, members who live in probably all the states that have right. We have people in Texas, Florida, Maryland, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. I don't know if there's anyone down in Iowa, but we have to find somebody down in Iowa. But there's people all across the Americas, right, that is involved in the association. And the ideas for us is to create what we call the STETHS communities. And STETHS communities is really going to make sure that every state and the U.S. and most of the major countries, but south of the US, every single state in the US should have a STETS ambassador. So if you fly in from Jamaica, you're flying from England, and you'll find yourself in North Carolina, we should have an ambassador in North Carolina that can take care of you. So the idea is to continue to grow, and I think we're on the trajectory. I think that this group, the executive body itself, has been a dynamic group. We're doing a lot of new things. We're planning some new events coming out this year for the next cycle. One of the things that we want to do is to be not only ask you to give, but we also want to give back. And as Donovan always said, the association is about it's not only about giving stats, but also creating a social place where all of us can unite and bond as family. You know, Bob Marley said something about being a foreign land. This is really a foreign country. And for us is that when we as foreigners come into a foreign country, right, we have to find a way to figure out how can we sing our own song, right? And the song that we can sing is that we unite together, we bond together. I think we can go very far. So I think we're on the trajectory of really trying to globalize this thing. We want to make sure that our members and the executive body represent all states, all parts of the world, and collectively we can make an impact. I want to make one last point in expansion. If any, when you look at all the major alumni associations that comes out of Jamaica, one thing they have in common is that they have people who is from all different age groups that are involved, right? And what we're trying to do is we're not trying to make this those folks from the 60s. We want to make sure we have people in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2020, and beyond. So all of us have a place so the continuity of the organization can grow. So as we grow both globally and expand nationally, our plan is to make sure we get people of all different age in the pipeline to work together with us so we can be impactful to sets. And the idea is for us to create this global wealth. So when we're called upon as a body, we can respond both and with financial strength and educational strength to support our alma mater.
Yep, yep, well said. And Ian, one thing that we recognize is that every year you have over 200 students graduate from STETS, right? So if you do the math, and even if you look at just the last 10 years, that's 200 students per year, over 2,000 students would be out there, right? And that's just in a 10-year period. So imagine if we're looking going back to the 60s when, yes, the numbers may have been a little less. The reality is that we could not and should not remain at a group that was under 50 members. We've taken the first step where we're 100 plus, approaching the 150 mark, but there is a large pool of past students out there that we still need to capture. And the mission is going to be to capture them no matter where they are. But not just to capture them, but to let them feel that here is something that they belong to as they tread through these United States or through whichever country they're in. You should never move to the US or move to a town where you have to feel like, apart from my immediate family members, I don't know anyone else. You should never have to be anywhere in the world where you feel completely lonely because there is no community of past students that you can bond with. And that is the mission for us that we will continue to work on.
Thank you guys for enlightening us on the mission and the vision of the STETHS Alumni Group. Personally, I've been a member for probably the past 2 years, and I must say I've seen the growth, and I've seen the work that you guys have put in, and I really appreciate what is happening in collaboration with the school itself, because everything is done with STETHS involved. So, Donovan, I'll start with you. All of us Stetsonians, but we stand on a big motto, work and integrity. For you, what does that mean? And coming up, we know we have the 60th anniversary, and I know you would know more of the history about STETS than anybody else. So could you tell us, going back in the days, how STETS started, and basically your feel of the school and a whole?
Before I answer your question, just a quick word on the service today, right? One of the things that amazes me about STETS is that I remember being at a function that they were supposed to be having, and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they didn't even have chairs in the auditorium yet, right? And they kept assuring me that by the time it would be time for the function to start, everything's gonna be all right, man. And I'm here getting all nervous because I certainly don't see everything being all right by 7 o'clock, right? Well, suffice it to say that by the time 7 o'clock came around, the auditorium was decorated, the guests were in place, people were getting dressed, and the function went off without a hitch. Same thing with the church service, and it's a testament to how well we as Testonians do things when we put our minds to it. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were probably pulling our hair out and saying, "Well, we don't seem like a lot has been done yet," blah blah blah. And look at today; it all came together beautifully. I think that there were so many highlights that all I can say is kudos to Stets for making this happen, and I'm sure Stetsonen felt the pride all over the place. I know you asked about work and integrity and the history of the school, and I'll say this. We were taught to put the work in. We were taught that as long as we were willing to do what is necessary, eventually the results will come. But not only were we taught to do it, but we were taught to do it the right way, right? Anyone can go out and make $1 million in it, but making that $1 million could very well land you in jail, right? But we at STETS were taught to do things the right way, and I think that is what has driven many of us throughout the years. And it does not mean that there will not be times when you fall down, right? But when that happens, it is a testament to how well we have been brought up as past students that we always pick ourselves up and keep going. So, from a historical perspective, the records will show that there was a time when Santa Cruz and the surrounding areas just did not have a school to cater for the children of that area, right? And the people of Santa Cruz and the surrounding areas, with help from Alcorn, picked themselves up, made the effort to make sure that we had an institution. Today, you may have heard the principal say that the long-term goal is for STETS to become a polytechnic, not just a high school, but to move to that next level. And that is the key to work on integrity. You always have to be willing to move to the next level, no matter what happens, right? I can tell you that Dr. Wright is a testament to that. And today we heard Robert Wright talked about a whole line of spa students who has gone through the gates of STETS from the 60s through today. And every single one of us is a testament to what work and integrity can do. And it is my hope that we will continue to be that way. And as I said, we may fall down, or as the song says, we fall down, but we get up. And when we fall down, we must pick ourselves up and keep going, because that is what STETS has instilled in us.
All right. Dr. Wright, we still gonna ask you what it means for you, but we all know you've been a champion, you've been an ambassador for the school. And right now, I just wanna ask you, what does it mean for you, and how does one become an ambassador like you?
Well, I like what Donovan said in terms of if you look back on the things that were taught to us as STETS, we realize that over the years, we're fortunate. I don't think when I walk the hallway of STETS in my khaki pants and, Fresh Prince, high top, flat top, skinny, stuttering in the hallway in seventh grade and getting rugged and afraid to go to the bathrooms, but still lived in the glory of peeping over the bleachers and watching those big men hitting six or somebody scoring a goal. I don't think the day when I enter that area and just saw the size of the men assessed in those time, didn't realize I was actually walking in the halls of greatness. But as time continues, what I realized that STETS did to me is that we're put in a position where both academically and personally, we sort of taught these life skills about working hard, doing it the right way, staying up longer, doing more effort. And I think the discipline of the academics at STETS and the sports, because I was a cricketer with Junior Bennett, and I played with Clive Legister, who most folks don't even know that Laza and I went to the same primary school. I was in the same class in primary school, played the same primary school team. One day they use a rock to hit him in the head. Next day, hit him a rock in the same head. So we have this kind of closeness from before. But walking those hallway of steps, we didn't imagine that we were in training camp. And I say this to you that I'm going to use a little biblical term now, because if you think about in a spiritual level, when David was out there killing a lion with his hand, David didn't know that he was getting ready to go slot, getting the training to go kill Goliath, right? So for us, is that all these things that Stats taught me in those days has prepared me in such a way that when I face challenges these days and things come across my way, I always go back to one thing, is that I might not be the smartest. I might not be the most intelligent. I might still stutter a lot. I might still have a speech impediment. I might still be in a position where I have my doubts on my own, in imposter syndrome in your head. Are you who you think you are? But within all of that, there's one thing I know that no one will be able to compete with us in, is the work that we put in. So keep in mind that as Thestonians, we have always learned to work harder, longer, more dedicated, in the honest way. And I think for me, that has propelled me and put me in a position. So when I go into a classroom or into a lecture hall or giving a speech or writing a book or traveling the world, it put me in a position where I never doubt what I can do, because I know that while you're sleeping, I'm working. While
And
you're
you know,
napping, I'm working. Right. So the idea is, I'm sorry, Donovan, the idea is that's give me that drive. So for me, that the work integrity mean if you put in the work, right, you would get the results. And it goes for anyone. People don't get to where they are by just sitting back. If you hear their stories, the most powerful thing you can say to a young adult is tell them your story, tell them your journey, so they know that you didn't get there overnight. There's, on the end with last note on this point, there's a reason why bees make honey and wasps don't.
and I think there are people who are dying to hear the story. So now that you've mentioned it, you need to finish it.
No, we can't finish that story, Jonathan. I just dropped the next book. There's the next book is titled Why Bees Make Honey and Wasps Don't.
Well, I have a good one for both of you, right? It was in the past week that I was actually talking with Laza Cecil, and
Oh,
you talked about being at school with him. And I have to tell you, he spoke very highly about what you did for him. So here
oh,
it is all along. I've been talking to you, and you talked about the relationship and whatever, but you never really got into that side of the story. And as I talked to him about, our upcoming function on the 23rd, he just spoke very, very highly about what you did for him.
yeah, but
So
we go way back, way back. So you should know that he didn't tell you that I protected him at Stets when he first came there. He didn't get in the rug in the first couple of times because I was there before him, but that's a different story.
yeah, but yeah, no, it's just amazing for all of us as past students, right? And having a place now or having a group that we can call our own, you can just see people coming out that normally you would not have heard from. Normally, you would not even have known how to contact them. And I'm just amazed at how our past students can find each other, right? You want to find somebody who went to STETS. You put it in that STETS alumni group, and I guarantee you within very short order, they are going to find that person.
So much better.
Okay. And I just want to say that you guys, are just outstanding ambassador for states. You guys have basically wear that work and integrity right across the heart, and wear it perfectly well. Because see here, both of you guys, are very well educated. All of you guys really mentors, and influencers for so many of us. You guys have set the trend there back at States. But Donovan, as we go forward in terms of the alumni group, we know still, as you have mentioned, there's a lot of people out there, graduating every year, and yet still we haven't seen all of them here on the platform. So obviously, some of them, still in the dark, and some of them have not been to the forefront. But I know with the STETHS Alumni Group, you guys allow people to come in, and also, there's a way of becoming an ambassador, in terms of going out there, reaching out? Just share, how someone can become a member of this group.
Well, the first thing you want to know is that we have an online portal, www.stitschat.com, where anyone who wants to become a member can actually go on and sign in, sign up, and become a member. I have to tell you that whereas there are organizations that charge a fee every meeting that you go to, or that charge big money for membership, our membership dues is only $40 per year. And you heard me right, per year, right? It's a one time a year fee of $40. And by the way, our new fiscal year begins on November 1st. So folks who paid up their membership this past year, it's approaching that time again. You will get notification from us that dues are going to be due for the start of the fiscal year on November 1st. So you pay your dues, you get all our communications, you become a part of our group, and we hope that you will bring somebody else to join you as well as you fellowship with the group, right? Once you become a member, and frankly, even for those people who are not members, we are encouraging them to be a part, right? But we're also making sure that we try to find them and let them be aware of what we do. The truth is, so we have just under 150 members, right, Cecil?
Yes, correct.
Just under 150. But just so you know, for this event that we are having on the 23rd, we would be ecstatic if we could draw at least 400, right? We would be really happy if we could draw at least 400. But apart from that, we are on a major push to get to where we have 150 paid up members minimum for this event. And it is our hope that through this program tonight and through those who are listening, they will feel the urge to contribute $60 in commemoration of the 60 years of STETS history. And go to www.stetsdiamondreunion.com and make their contribution towards this event, because it is the goal of this alumni group to make a major contribution to STETS. It is said that money makes the mayor run, and the truth is, the more you contribute, the more we can do, right? So that's the bottom line. Sign up, become a member, contribute towards what's happening, and in the middle of having fun, know that that $60 per year, or that $60 for the fun, that $40 per year rather for dues, and that $60 for the function on the 23rd of October. It's a drop in the bucket. I'm sure sometimes folks go out to eat with their friends or to have a beer with, the people they hang out with, and they spend more than that $60, right? So we are asking people, we are appealing to people, please register and give. Just this evening, a lady called me from Kingston and she said, I want to contribute, but I don't know how to get there, right? And when I told her the website, she said, listen, stay on the phone with me. I want to pay right now, right? And Cecily, I stayed on with her. She made her payment, so we have one more. But more importantly, she said to me, I am going to call up some people because they need to contribute as well. And that's what we're looking for, where each one call one to make sure that they contribute towards this event on the 23rd.
Okay, so much about this event that is coming up. We definitely see the quality in terms of production from today, and we can see the people are on board. We just want to give a big shout out to the president or the principal there at St. Elizabeth Technical High School. Great leadership. Mr. Wellington, really appreciate what you're doing. Went back to the school, and the school is just looking amazing. And it's not that just the look, but we are doing well in every era, every aspect. So we gotta give thumbs up to Mr. Wellington. Dr. Cicerite, so with this event, I know a lot is laid on your shoulder. I think you probably gonna be the person moderating this event. So could you just tell us a little bit more specific about this event and what we can expect?
Well, I mean, if I give you all the details, you probably don't want to show up, but it'll be too much. But let me just say this: if you ever, many of us, especially on who live abroad, sometime always see the Grammys, right? You have these fancy award shows when all of the animations and graphic and the if you look at the whether it's films or movies they're showing, you see all of those stuff that comes across and how people celebrate it. Ideas for us is to take this virtual dinner dance into your home. So I want to point to a couple of things that are going to take place. One is that once you get to the event, because it is an event you get into, you should be dressed for the event. You Everyone will enter into a virtual cocktail hour. And the cocktail hour allow you to be in group with your classmates. So for instance, if you're in the 90, if you're from 1980 to 1985, you'll be in a cocktail room. So there'll be a room breaking out into different years. So the first, before the event actually start, you break off into groups, into these virtual groups, and you can see people you've never seen for years. That's where you could chit chat, you could, enjoy each other company. And then there's a countdown that would take place to let you know that the room is closing and now you have to move into the main hall for dinner. And as you're going, as you see the room closing into the main hall, what you realize that each of our guests, our paid guests, would realize that they're actually moving into a virtual space. So they'll see their pictures coming across the screen. They'll move into this virtual space, and then that's when the official ceremony will start. We have a host of guest artists. We have a bunch of surprise awards. You should know that everyone who registered before November 23rd also have the chance to win one of three prizes. We have, that getaway for Mystic Dooms. We have the 50-inch television. We have iPads. I understand we have some JB gears raffling off. We understand some STETHS jacket. We have gift cards. We have a bunch of things that's been raffled off all night. So the first part is more about the award ceremony, honoring STETHS history. And I know that we're really looking at honoring a few people over the decades. And I just want to say this: we will never get it right. And Mr. President, I can tell you this: we'll never get who we honor right. And we have honored people over the years, and everyone who grace those hills of STETHS, whether you coming to the field coming from Santa Cruz at the back end over the fence, or you come to the tall hill coming to the great, everyone who grace it deserve an honor. But for this 60th, we wanted to tap on some folks who we think are continue to make contribution. And over the next couple of years, you'll notice that we'll continue to honor more and more people. But these awardees, we felt this year has made a significant contribution, and we wanted to make sure that in their lifetime, or their post lifetime, that they have a chance to be celebrated. So it's going to be award ceremony followed by our illustrious Dr. Wint is going to be our keynote speaker. The moderators actually, Mrs. Zonia Watkins and myself will be moderating. And then in the back end, there's an after party with a host of artists. DJ Renee is going to be taking part of that back half. But we're expecting this to be a really ecstatic, really beautiful event. A lot of work going on. The event planning team has been working day and night. I mean, we have guys, Ian, we have guys literally up, to be honest with you, at 1 a.m. in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning, still working on making sure we get this thing right. So we're looking forward to a great day.
Thank you for the highlights, Dr. Wright. And another thing, I want you to just tell us quickly, because I know there will be a class challenge. And, as Stetsonia, we like to have a challenge from time to time. So, and whether we like it or not, I don't know. Challenge always be showing up at our door. I think because, we're built to handle challenge. So just let us know about the class challenge.
You know what? I'm afraid of challenging. Last time I challenged, last year I decided I wanted to challenge some STETHS guy that I'm a rapper. And I can't even rap a sandwich, much less. And the next thing I know, I say them pull out some alumnus from as a young man from UE who's a DJ, a big time artist, and then pull out Mr. Wellington pull out him son, and then just kind of just burn me out with the challenge. So I try to stay away from the challenges, but yes, there is a STETHS challenge taking place. If you go to www.stetsdiamondreunion.com, you'll realize that there is opportunities over the next year period where you can donate to all things STETHS. and you have to put in, while you're doing a donation, you can go ahead and put in your year. And at the end of that journey, I think Gary and team will then be able to tabulate to see who raised the most money over this 1 year celebration. But I want to throw another challenge. Challenge what I like to throw is that for this dinner dance, and by the way, let me say this, it is a virtual dinner dance, it's a paid event. So it's not streaming online, it's not on Facebook, it's not on Instagram. If you don't have a ticket, you can't get in. It's like anywhere else, right? You can't go to the ball without paying for your ticket. So everyone, we're not saying it's you don't have to pay for a ticket. We have to contribute $60 for 60 years. And if you live in London or England, I should say, you live in Canada or Jamaica, you can always do conversion, whatever conversion is. But we want you to contribute $60 to be a part of this illustrious event. We're on track right now to break a record in terms of fundraising, and we're also on track for guests. So Mr. President said if we can get 200-300 people online that night, it will be a historic day. And I want to point one thing out to this. Why this is so important for us to all to participate. The pandemic has a lot going on for us. It has really impacted us severely. And our president and the principal and the association itself have always found a way to keep STETHS going. And I know that we still have students at STETHS. And so when it is on, he can verify this. We still have students at STETHS who might still be struggling from the pandemic in terms of connecting with them, having technology they need to continue to do online classes, and also just the mental, emotional support they need. So this is a chance for all of us who want to give back, to donate, to come to this illustrious event, spend $60, and know that at the end of that spending that $60, you're going to have a chance to continue to contribute to make a significant impact on STETHS in a time when STETHS needed most. You see, we have success in athletes and all the other areas and great areas, but I still believe the foundation of any great students is their academics, is their will and the academic province that they have. And for us to get there, it takes resources. So this is a chance for all of us to continue to contribute, to help us raise funds so we can help the 60th continue to move us forward this pandemic time.
All right, so we're going to move over to Sir Wilson. Quick one. I know Dr. Wright have just gone over it. You're going to just put it out there again. Why is it important that you should show up to this event? And also, over the years, I know you've been with the alumni group for decades. Just tell us some of the things that you have done through this group to foster the growth and development of our high school.
I think I'll take the first part of your question, but not the second part, right? The reason why we want to make sure that people are a part of this is simple. We are looking to do something on October 23rd that no other STETHS group anywhere in the world has done. We're looking to do something on October 23rd that I dare to say perhaps no other alumni group has done. When you see this production, you know, Cecil has said it over and over that it needs to be something that tugs on your heartstring. It needs to be something that make you remember where you were on the night of October 23rd when we did this event, and make you feel as if, guess what? I wish I had given more. I wish I had given 120, 180, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times the amount, because it was well worth it. And if we can achieve that, right? And I can tell you right now, if you thought today's event was good, you ain't seen nothing yet, right? So after this is over, you can bring us back on the show and we're going to put you and your listeners on the spot and say, okay, October 10th or October 23rd, where's the winner?
Mr. President, that's a lot of pressure right there putting on the team.
Well, you know, I will tell you this, right? Our team is perhaps one of the most effective teams we've had in years, right? And like with any family, there'll be disagreements because everybody is creative, everybody has opinions or whatever. But at the end of the day, we all want one thing, and that is to make sure that we can give back to STETHS in some way, right? And therefore, no matter what happens with us, when it's all over, folks get together, have a drink, go out to eat, do what they have to do, and the fun continues. And this is going to be a fun night. There's a lot of work that's going on in the background, but in the end, it is the end result. It is what the audience see. If you've ever been to a show on Broadway, you just see the show. You don't see everything that goes by to make that show possible, right? Well, you are going to get a show on October 23rd.
Thanks, Mr. President. Also, know that there is a STETHS magazine within the alumni group. Could you just tell us a little bit more about the magazine and what it entails?
You know, when you talk about the dedication of that magazine team, I would be remiss if I didn't share this with you guys. Our principal basically gave a mandate to the team to say that the magazines must be in Jamaica by a certain date. I will put it to you this way. The magazine needed to be there before the church service today. Now, for those who are listening on this, please know that this magazine, I believe it went to the printer, somewhere around the 28th of September, Cecil?
Yes, yes.
Went to the printer quite late, right? So by the time we picked it up, paid for it or whatever, we were now faced with the challenge of getting it down to Jamaica. Well, between Cecil and Zonia, they were able to reach out to a spa student who made it happen in terms of a ticket to go to Jamaica. And Zonia actually went down to Jamaica to make sure that it was personally delivered to the principal before today, the 10th of October. So mission accomplished, we did what we had to do. It's 82 pages of stuff that you will want to see. It's 82 pages of stuff that you will want to have one of these and say, this is a keepsake. This is my Bible. I don't want anybody spill anything on it. I don't want anybody touch it. I don't want anybody even breathe too hard on it, right? Some people have gone to the point of paying extra to make sure that their name is on the cover of the magazine. That's how important it is to them. So, when you hear a man is going to pay extra to put his name on a book, that should tell you something about how important that book is to them. There are 1,500 copies right now, some in Jamaica, some up here. And if you think you're going to wait till next year reunion to get one, I advise you don't. The magazines are available right now. They're available at 25 US dollars, and I advise you to purchase one of those magazines because you're going to want to hold on to it. I mean, I ask you this, Ian, do you have your yearbook from when you graduated?
Well, if there was one, I would know where to find it.
Cecil, do you have one?
I think there was a pro that I even graduated. I think they might have sold mine in the auction. I can't find it.
Well, there are some people who have one. I didn't have one because in my year something happened and the magazine was not created. But I know there are past students out there who hold on to their magazine proudly, right? Well, let's just say that this 60th will be one that will be almost like a mantelpiece. It is going to be a treasures item that you will not want to let go. So if you haven't bought one yet, you can buy one now. It's filled with articles. It has stuff about the graduating class, the whole nine. Let me say this. I bought my copy. I haven't seen it yet, right? And I am waiting with bated breath for when it gets into my hand because I am told by everybody how good it is. And Cecil, you holding up one and giving us a sneak peek don't count, okay? Even though I'm sure you probably have
Wow.
one. There you go. There you go.
I have one that I'm holding on to. I signed it and I'm keeping it. It's my selling piece. This is my keepsake here. My keepsake.
So we encourage our listeners to make sure to buy a copy of this magazine. As I said, it's chock full of articles. It will be something that you will treasure for as long as you live.
And Donovan, since you're on that topic, how is the easiest way for someone to get their hands on that magazine? I know you talk about it and we should get it, but how is the easiest way to get it? And
That's a great question. And since I'm not on the magazine team, let me punt that one over to Cecil. What's the quickest way to get it, sir?
I want to say this. I can give you a little secret is that if you don't get your magazine in the next couple of days, the prices will go up because the value of the magazine is actually increasing. I say that it's now on the website for only $25 for a magazine, but that was didn't include shipping and handling. So we're in the process of tacking on shipping and handling. And so whoever don't get the magazine by Wednesday, you'll notice they're gonna be a small addition, about $3 to $4 for shipping and handling. Because what we realize is that the orders for the magazine is coming in from all over the world, and the logistics of distributing it requires us to have now a system of making sure that we can have them shipped out and mailed out to people easily. For
Right.
those who order your magazine, if you're in Jamaica, there's preparation being made so you can pick up yours at the school, and the magazine committee is finalizing some logistics around that. And if you're in the US, we're working on we will finalize a logistical distribution of magazine in the next 2 days.
Yeah.
So there's more to come. But if you want to order tonight, just go ahead and order. You can go to our Stats Reunion, the Diamond, or statchat.com. You'll see the cover of the magazine. If you go to STETHSshop.com, the cover magazine is there. If you click on the magazine, it brings you right in and can order your copy for $25. All information will be there and it will get it to you. If it happens that you order before the shipping is involved, we'll take the shipping fees, but after a couple of days from now, we're gonna have to add the price for shipping. In the past, I think, Donovan, the magazine would have been distributed at major events, right? So
Absolutely. In fact, the magazine would have been distributed at the dinner dance, right? So it makes sense to get it before the virtual dinner dance. So we're asking people, October 23rd is the virtual dinner dance. Let's try to make sure that you have one in your hands before that day. And as Cecil said, www.stetsdiamondreunion.com. Click on register and you'll see all the different things. You'll see the October 23rd event, but you will also see a section for the magazine where you can purchase your magazine there as well. And if you go to www.stitschat.com, you will see a link there as well to get to it. So those are the two easiest way right now to get to it. Of course, feel free to call up any member of the executive and say, listen, I want a magazine, I have my money. And we'll make sure, even if we have to register you to let you get it, we'll make sure that you get your magazine into your hands.
Okay, sounds good. So you guys just mentioned this text chat. Could you just tell us what goes on in the text chat?
everything goes on in the chess chat. Every solid thing. One, if you look at the chess chat, we have folks who go on and write anything. So the chess chat actually give you a forum where you can go on as a member of the association and just write your story. And there's regular people who go on and write from Jamaica and from England and even from the US here. Just go on and write a story. You talk about your families, we talk about news, we talk about anything, whatever you need to know. Matter of fact, some of the most updates I get from Jamaica, to be honest, come on the set chat because
Oh,
there's frequent people who go on there and tell you. And by the way, they're the best place for debates. All the political debates and theories about what's happening in the world happens on setchat.com. So it's a forum. You go on, you chat. You have also programs on there that we support. We have the scholarship programs on there. Anything that the president or the executive team wants to communicate to us is also on the website. Upcoming events are on the website. And if you register also, what you'll notice on the right hand side, your birthdays are listed, right? So if your birthday is coming up, that's how we know when your birthday come up in. So we just see you because you rest on the side, your name populate that your birthday is
uh,
coming this date.
uh,
So
uh,
Yeah.
no psychic around. We're psychic. You
And
tell
don't
us on
worry,
the
we're not
website
putting the year up there, Cecil. We're not
uh,
putting your year in, just the birthday. So
no,
this
if
day.
no,
it's February 25th, that's it. The year is not up there.
Yes.
well, I hope I get a tall birthday gift for that.
Well,
That's
listen, you're
coming
a
soon.
tall man. You're a tall man. Your gift can't be short. You know that.
Yeah, yes, it's coming soon.
But
Uh,
I tell you though, you're speaking of, States chat. So it's a place on the forum there where people get to talk. I remember seeing once when they were having a general election in Jamaica, there were guys on the forum who were literally predicting who the winners were going to be parish by parish in the
Wow.
election, and they were good. I said these guys should charge for what they do, because when the final results came out, they were quite accurate in terms of who the winners were.
Nice, nice. Donovan, I must basically commend you on the work that you have done, and I know behind the scene you have to have a very, very efficient, strong, dedicated team. Could you just tell us, how challenging though it is to get this all out there, because everything looks smooth. It seems like, everything is going according to plan in terms of this whole state 60th anniversary. Just tell us a little bit about your team.
I think we probably have the biggest team that we've had years, right, to work on the things that we have. Our events team right now has been in place now since I guess late last year. On that team we have people like Kadeen Coles, we've got Belinda Horton, we've got Patrice McNeil, we've got Elaine Murray, who you're familiar with, we've got Barry White, we've got Junior Thompson, we've got Cecil, of course, and who did I leave out, Cecil? I'm sure I left someone.
Well, we have Tracy Newsome, we have
Tracy Newsome.
Wally.
We have Wally Stewart, the quiet man behind the activities, the flyers, the whatever. Did we get everyone?
I'm missing anyone event planning team.
Missing Tanya.
Barry, Tanya. We have Tanya Dormant.
So there is a group of people that has been working tirelessly with respect to what they do, right? And I'll tell you that in terms of getting that group together, I'm probably the most controversial in the group. I'm probably the one that pisses people off the most. But you see, at the end of the day, what you see is the final product and how we get things out there. And honestly, we all have the same end goal, and that is what is important, to know where we want to get to and know that we will get there different ways. But at the end of the day, we are going to get there. That's the important thing.
All right, you guys, I just want to point out something here, because definitely I've seen that, in terms of the younger generation, we haven't seen much of them coming into the STETHS alumni, but you guys have just mentioned Wally B, and I have seen his effectiveness since he's been a part of the group. And could you guys just tell us a little bit about him, and what does he bring to the team, and how can we get the younger generation to be a part of it, to see that it's all fun over here?
I'll jump on that. And the reason I will, because I'm new to the group. I would say last 2 years or so. And one of the things I admire most about Wally, and again, I don't. First of all, he's not a behind the scene guy, because he's the best dressed stats man to walk the earth. I'm telling you, Wally. When Wally show out, he shows up, right?
Go for it.
Go for it. Wally don't. I mean, I tell him that the pants, I couldn't wear the pants with him wear, because it's a little tight. You can't fit into it. But he's the man behind the scene. That's one dedicated brother can tell you that I could call Wally anytime and go for it. If you haven't had a product, go for it. I have my jersey in the back, right number 17, which is my college jersey, that is made by Gopher. So if you haven't got a chance, check out Wally product. But dedicated, he's the ingenuity that he puts into stuff, and the ideas and the marketing plan, and just his drive and the passion, and just making sure that the feel for stuff, and you see all those the feels to make sure things look right. But remember, Wally has a marketing degree, and he's using it well, and that's why the group that we have in terms of event planning committee is so effective, because every single person on that committee plays such an important role. We have those who are creative in their ideas. We have those who are the editorial, and Belinda is the one who does a lot of the editing to make sure across all the T's. You have Tana does with all the legal stuff. You have JT Junior that does all of the publication stuff, reaching out to people all over the world. You have Kadeen who all the secretarial and Elaine. And I mean, all of these guys work so hard. And I don't want to just say, and don't forget, and also there's mentioned and our esteemed treasurer, Nadine Linton. So these guys are unique in their way and they do everything. But the one Wallaby man, him just have a way of showing up, showing out, always supportive. And Wally's also dragging other people in. So what we noticed the last couple of days, a couple of months, we've seen people like Jerry, who owns, Coffee Bay Restaurant, and other younger folks who are now getting involved. And so I think he has been impactful. I think the future is bright because of folks like him. And I have no doubt that in the near future, we're going to see someone like Wally and Jerry and other guys stepping up to the plate and be more the forefront and taking more leadership role. But we're trying to build that to make sure that as we go through the years, right, we're not just waiting for a generational gap, that each person is connected and move us in the right direction.
And I will also say this about Wally. Wally has the ear of the younger crowd. Wally has his pulse on things in terms of what will attract the younger folks. Bear in mind that for many of us, right, we're at that stage in life where we're probably finished with school. We have kids, or in some cases, grandkids. We're at a different stage in life versus the young person who left sets within the last 5 or 10 years, who is probably still trying to get themselves settled, right? And therefore, their expectation will tend to be a little bit different than those who's been out there in the work world for a longer period. I think Wally has his finger on the pulse of what drives that younger group. And therefore, he's always pushing us to do something that's different. So you'll see, for example, and I come back to the October 23rd event, when you register, you hear the ad, but you can get your picture up on that ad. So it becomes your personal musical ad that you can show to your friends and say, I'm registered. Look at this. Listen to this. Those are the kind of creative things that Wally pulls, because let's face it, the young folks, they don't just want to read. They want to see things. They want to get it in 10 seconds, and you have to be in their face. And that's one of the things he brings to the table, where we have ads that are not just an ad, but it's an ad that's going to get your attention immediately.
And can I just piggyback on one thing, Ian? Let me just say this. So I know and that every alumni association has its challenges. And what's unique, where it's not unique to us that some of the younger folks don't have the resources nor the time to contribute the way that others can. And it's two-phase. One is that if you talk to me 20 years ago when I was, forget, I won't say how old I was 20 years ago. If you talk to me back in the days when I was much younger, I didn't have the resources, probably the anytime or the time, money, or even the intellectual ability to carve out ideas and thoughts to get us moving forward. So if you're a young Stetsonian out there, don't feel that you have to come in and just contribute all your time and all your effort and all your money. Because you might still be in college. You might just start starting your family. You might can't do that. What we're saying to you is stay connected, stay close, do what you can. And if that one thing you can is just to be a part of the association, register, be a part of the association, and show up to an event. What that does, it gets you connected. And it also opens doors. So professional like us who are in the field, if we see a Stetsonian who's working hard, who's connected, and there's opportunities that we know, we can have to foster those opportunities, right? So don't feel like because I don't have all the time. My kids are grown now, so I have more time, right? They don't want to see me anymore. They're off doing the whole things, right? But for a younger person who have kids running around the house, they might not have the flexibility to do what we're doing now. So, but don't feel like you can't be a part because you can't give all 7 days or 2 days or 4 hours. Do what you can, because every mickle make a muckle. Them said every little bit that you can put it into the bucket, it's gonna help us to fill the bucket we need. And sooner or later, the tide would turn where we will diminish and you will rise to become the leading organization. But you need to be in early so you can learn the culture, you can learn the passion, you can learn the drive, and everything it takes to be a part of this great association.
And what I would like to also add to that is if you're a young person going through that early stage in life, remember in the very beginning, we talked about not just giving back the stats, but giving you a community of people that you can fellowship with. Well, when those tough days come, this is when you want to know that you have a family of stats people that you can reach out to. In life, different things will reach people at different times, right? But you want to know that from the day you set foot out of stats, whether it's into the US or into some other country, that there is a stats community out there that you can go online or you can reach out to someone who's already a part and say, look, I left stats, I want to be a part, I want to connect with the stats community. You don't have to always have money to give. More than anything else, be a part because contributions takes many forms. It's not always about cash. It takes cash to care, but at the same time, it takes people to care as well. So just know that we may help to care now. Your time will come when you can care. So don't believe that you have to wait until you have your family or until you're settled before you become a part. We want you to become a part from the moment you set foot out of the gates of stats.
All right, thank you guys. And I just want to add to that. For we know a lot of Stetsonian out there. We all that pass through state. Trust me, we are gifted with several talents. And so you know, if you're out there and you have talent, this is a place that you could also exercise, those talents. And reason why I say that, and kudos to you guys, is that you guys are bringing on Brian Peart. I know he'll be a part of the whole event on the 23rd. This gentleman, an artist, or you say musician, entertainer, he hails from Kingston, but move over to St. Elizabeth. So basically I say he's from Santa Cruz area there. And he's doing music all the way into England. And I got to give it up to you guys again that you're able to draw even from that distant out. So right across the world, we're pulling people in. And he's going to be a part of the show, giving us, entertainment. He's been doing some real cultural music. And last night I had him on the program. And, he actually, within just a few, I would say a week, was able to come up with a song for STETHS. And this is a song that I think need to play in our auditorium on a daily basis because I've listened to it last night. It is catchy,
Next level.
and the young people will come in on this one. If you're going to a game, whether it be netball, football, cricket, basketball, wherever you're going, and this is playing in the bus, I know everyone can sing along. It is catchy, and it just tells you the talent that we have out there. And you can utilize those talents right here on within the alumni group. So thumbs up to you guys in bringing on to the show Brian Peart, otherwise C Block, if you guys looking out for him, C Block, and he's right across our social media. And we also look for the support. So this is a place where you can come and join the family, and the family join you in terms of your support. So guys, just go out there and look out for C Block Music. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, you name it, he's out there. And he will be on the program. And as I said, I am a very conscious youth when it comes on to music. I pick and choose the type of music I listen to. But, I've been listening to a few of his music, and really and truly, this man just don't go just right. It's like he goes into deep meditation, and he's pulling some really powerful energy. So we can just expect the energy that he's gonna bring to the show. And so this is also pulling in some young people. So kudos to you guys. And if there's any more big acts coming in and you want to talk about it, this is the time.
Well, listen, I just look at the program, which is right in front of me, and I can just give you. So right now, don't forget we have our own Songbird, Lisa and Chris Levy will also be performing. We also have another artist called DJ Zealis performing. We also have a special guest performance from STETHS student. I don't know if it's a folk song or it's going to be a skit, but I'm looking forward to that. We also have beyond that, we have, as I said, the keynote speakers and with Dr. Alvin Wynn. And then we have, I said C Block is coming through. We have our own Richie Innocent coming in the back end of the program. So we have, and by the way, we have a best dressed competition that night, right? The best dressed male versus the best dressed female, the best dressed couple. So there's a lot of surprises coming on. But I think overall, there's a host of performance. It's not only about the awards ceremony, it's all these other um, very unique entertainment piece. And I think the piece that Donovan, I'm also so excited about is that we saw a video today that showed STETHS and the grounds of STETHS. Well, we're going to take a little twist on that. And rather just show the grounds of STETHS, we're going to show the people of STETHS. And I think that when you see that, it's going to going to thug on your heart, because you're going to realize that STETHS in its essence is not a building. STETHS is not a place. STETHS is not just somewhere in Santa Cruz, right? STETHS is like this utopia. STETHS is an oasis in a desert land where people exist and lives are changed. And until you see the great men and women that stroll the hallway of STETHS, and the people like the groundsmen and the teachers and the bus drivers, when you see all of that come to life on screen, then you realize that it's going to be a special night. So if you haven't had your ticket, everybody need a ticket to come to the show. You can purchase a ticket on the night of it all. But if you purchase before the 23rd, you have a chance to win 3 major prizes. If you purchase the night, when you log on to the link and the link will become public, you won't be able to come into the door until you pay up your money to get into the show. So there'll be a public link, but you're gonna go to a waiting room, and the what you call it? We call it that about security at the door. Whoever security at the door gonna ask for your ticket. And we ask for your ticket. It simply means that you're gonna have to pay up the ticket to get in the show, because it's not being broadcast. But I'm telling you, this is one show you don't want to miss. So if you're online, I think that the team is working hard, as you mentioned, Ian. Mr. President mentioned it. And a lot of folks are doing a lot of stuff to get us where we need to be. And I want to say that if you haven't got your ticket, go get your ticket. Dress up. Come check out Katie and Coles, who has been calling you all week. Come see Elaine dress up in her fancy dress, who's calling your phone at night to say if you're coming to the show. Or Belinda, or Tanya, or Tracy, and JT. Come see those guys, because they're gonna be ready and waiting to see you. Just enjoy a great night, and show up, man. Let's make this big. Let's create history. Let's break the record. I don't know, Donovan, in terms of numbers, what have we ever done in terms of fundraising our numbers online? But I think we have a chance in STETHS history to break some records, and even if we fall short, it's not for trying, but we're going for it.
And speaking of the young ones, right? Ian, I think it's our time to put you on the spotlight. We just wanted to say congratulations to you for the addition to the family, sir. I gather that we're going to have another tall man or tall woman. You can tell us which it is. And, certainly absolute congratulations from us here within the alumni community, sir.
Well, I just want to say thank you, guys. And, STETHS, I would say, mean everything to me. And I hope whoever knows me know that I carry that STETHS flag high and tall, because I should be one of the tallest that pass through STETHS. I heard there's a few that I probably have to go find them and have a measure of competition too. But
that'll be good.
I really stand tall in terms of work and integrity as our motto. I take it personal. I wear it across my chest at times. As I have a brand, and I call it work and integrity. It's on my chest. And for STETHS, I said STETHS is everything. Simple mean I did not just get educated at STETHS. I did not just develop and further develop my talent. Everybody know that I was a cricketer. Still a cricketer up to today's day. Went to STETHS as an athlete. I know Mr. Olivier would have been disappointed, because I probably could have been the Usain Bolt. I was pretty quick. I was a 100-meter and a 200-meter, 400-meter sprinter with my height. I was champion boy at Rosal All-Age School for years. So I want to big up all the teachers and the family, people in Rosal and my area, there, South St. Elizabeth. But when I went on to STETHS, I must say, I found my forever love. I met my beautiful wife there in Tennessee, Nikisha Johnson. He was from, I would say, out by Wilton into what you call that there? Goshen area. And we have been together for all those years from 10th grade till now. So over 20 plus years, probably 26 years, over 22 years of marriage. And anybody who followed us know our story. It's a story that's like a miracle. We've been given diagnosis by doctor, with all the challenges my wife would have to have a baby. They say it wasn't possible. We would not have a child together. But, we're people of faith and we stand by the promise of God. Whose report do you believe? I believe the report. And the report I believe is that of God. And even though the doctors say no, I know our Heavenly Father is never going to disappoint us when he gave us that promise. It's just to have faith and just, wait upon him. And we waited for many years, not being able to have a child. My first child was 4 years ago, Nikki Anna, and you guys know her quite well. She loved Facebook, had to pull her back a little. So, but then, we have another child, gotta give it up for little Nikia. We call her Gracie. So not from being able to have a child, we end up with children. But the biggest thing about it and the greatest gift is the son that is now here. And little Samuel, Samuel was basically given his name way before he was a promise, that was given to us by God. And it took us many years of waiting. But we just want to say Samuel is here. And, if it wasn't for STETHS, then I probably would have not been the person I am today. I would not have the family I have today. So STETHS, as I said, mean a lot to me. And there's so much story I could share from the farm to the field.
Hey, listen, with your story, mind there's some young man who wants to go to STETHS believe that when they go to STETHS, everybody find a wife, because the way you're telling this, you're telling the story as if you go to STETHS, you will find a wife.
Well,
So,
a wife is there, and surprisingly, there are many of us who have, walked the road and came out with a lifetime partner. A few of us that have that, and I probably need to find those people who came out with, and up to this day still together, and that's it, that's just the rock that we stand on, the foundation, So really and truly, STETHS have really made me into the person I am today. I would not have wished to go to any other school, any other high school, started all over back, rewind the tape, send me right back to St. Elizabeth Technical High School. The only thing I probably would have done different if I go back there, because at times I question myself, guys, is track and field. I wonder if I had run straight through my STETHS here, but I had an injury at STETHS. And, I remember vividly the day Mike Olivier, first year class 3, I wasn't the fast at that time because we had two guys that would have been quicker than me, but I would have been able to spend another year behind. So he said, you know what, Ian, just try, put in the work, do a little distant work. My brother and I and a guy named Preston, we're doing some hills. But then I remember vividly at Ash Wednesday, he said, go over there and work with Baker, do some high jump. So this is a story that lived with me from STETHS. So I went over there, and Baker was class 1 at the time at Champs. And I went over there and I was jumping. I cleared the bar that he was clearing for a class 1 athlete, and I'm class 3. But unfortunately, on one of my jump would have been the final jump. I went over the bar and somehow my knees make connection with my forehead. And with that injury, my mother said, Ian, that's it with track and field. That's it with the sports. But I was so talented. I was also a cricketer. And I tell you the truth, the track and field training was so tough. Because even when it rains, we're climbing the stairs at STETHS. You're not going to get away from Mike Olivier. We didn't do much gym work, but you got to do those steps. You got to do some squat, But when I look at the cricketers, they were all chilling, Rainfall, pitch wet. That's it. You know, Olivier, even the rain, he will send him down to his wife, you know, Lana Bennett. We know the great lawyer he is. She is. So he would send us to Lana Bennett to do aerobics and he's whining and stuff. Hey man, I was made for that. So
Yeah, so
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 it was
many
easy
stories here.
to quit the sports. But even when I went into college, I'm telling you guys, I ran against even Michael McDonald for my college, and I ran close upon him, and they were like, "Where's this Herb McKinley came from?" I wasn't training or anything, but you know, so that is something. If I have the opportunity to go back to states, I probably would have just see where my track and field would have taken me that career. But other than that, I just enjoy my days there at Stets, man, and it will live with me until the day I die. So, to all my Stets family, guys, I'm just telling you, this 60th anniversary that is coming up, for 60 years, it's $1 a year. And if you only spend 5 years at Stets, if you should pay $12 a year, you could not still repay Stets for what they have done for us. I know most people did a 5-year program. So the value that we get from Stets, giving back $60 is just a little. So I just say to everybody out there, you know, Gary Barnes, welcome, my Stets batchmate. And I'm gonna just put Gary on the spot. Gary, you have to be a part of the alumni group. It's gonna be $60. This guy is another Stets champion. I'll tell you about Gary Barnes. You know, he's a real gentleman, real man, real family man. And that's what I love about Stets and the quality, you know, of the people that we put out there into society. We make a difference. You know,
Yeah.
we add to what is out there and we better it. You know,
Yeah, and
that
I'm gonna put you on the spot, right?
you've been putting me on
By,
the spot too long, you know.
I'm gonna put you on the spot by saying that the next time we have an in-person event, right? I would really like to see you and a gentleman by the name of Mr. Delroy Pang standing up together.
I heard about him.
Because I tell you, those two, apart from one, Mr. Shaquille O'Neal, are perhaps the two biggest persons or tallest persons I've ever seen. You and Delroy Pang, my friend.
Yeah, I heard about Pang, man. So just saying, guys, go out there. And this is the fun thing. Probably with that Pang, we could put a little a bet on it. Who is taller? Which batch win that one? You know. And all the fundraising will go back to the alumni group and helping building Stets and those who will be coming through the institution. And we just want to say to Mr. Wellington down there, I can't say it enough, man. Great work. And I've known this gentleman for years. So Mr. Wellington could tell you about my athletic career because he was at Mayfield and he would have been the person who would have represented us going to Alpha representing that side of St. Elizabeth. You know, and from those days, you could see, you know, his character. You know, he was always caring and always willing to help, give a helping hand. Even though I'm from Rosa and I'm running against his athlete from Mayfield, even playing cricket, he can remember when we beat his team there, you know, Mayfield. You know, it was just a good fun thing during those days. But Mr. Wellington, you know, I've known him from all the way back then, and he have just grown and blossomed into a great principal, great leader, you know, and the Stets flag is really flying high. And the colors, man, I went down there, everything is just repainted and just looking clean and beautiful with all the addition that he have made there. So guys, just support, and that's all I can say, just keep supporting.
Absolutely.
October 23rd. Register now. It's only $60.
Yep, that's it. Let's get this party started.
All right, so you know we have taken a lot of time here, guys. So in just wrapping up, the final say is with our president and our vice president of the STETHS Alumni Group, and we really commend them on the work that they are doing and the team that they have put together. And we have definitely seen that, you know, we have basically any who haven't watched that church service today that have kicked it off, the whole 60th anniversary. I ask that you go to the STETHS page, whether their YouTube channel or Facebook, and you just watch, look through it. You know, it was well put together, you know, clean and went smooth. So, guys, play your part and support. So the floor is now yours, Donovan and Sister Wright.
So, well, I would just say and wrap it up. One, again, thanks to everyone for the support. I think that we're off to a great start. The 60th committee and the direction of our principal and those who form that executive body has done an awesome job. And I think overall, if you look back and what the association in the US is doing, and for the magazine committee led by our illustrious Zania Watkins and that team, some great folks on the magazine committee produced a lovely magazine. And now we're at the next step in the 60th, which is the 23rd. And the team here, the alumni team, is doing their best to make sure we got everything in place for that event. So if you haven't done so yet, go on, support. You won't be disappointed. It's going to be it's one for the record books. We're putting in the time, we're putting in the effort, we're putting in all the ingenuity. We're trying to bring this life into your home. I'm going to ask you to, if you're a gentleman and you love bow tie, put on a bow tie that night. As a matter of fact, you could just put on a tie from this place, downwards. If you don't want to get dressed in, just put on a shorts on the bottom, but put on your little bow tie. If you want to put on your tie, put on your fancy dress, bring out those Belmont, fancy hat, Donovan, and go to the race course hat. What do we need to do? Get fancy in your own home, get a glass of wine, get something ready, and be prepared, because we think it's going to be a fabulous night. And don't forget, after the official sermon is over, you can dance the night away. And I have my dancing shoes on, so looking forward to everyone. Log on to my folks over there in England, Dexter, Cecil Simmet, Melodon in Jamaica, all the crew, the 90s crew, come out big time. Let's show up and show all the 70s, the 80s, the 60s, and 2000 how the 90s roll. Anywhere from 1990 to 1999. Let's show up and show these folks how we do it, right? So if you're in 11G Massive, my brother's keeper group headed by our illustrious Elaine, big yourself up. Make sure you come out that night. Every man show up. And guess what happened? If you don't have the money to pay for a ticket, check somebody who might be able to check somebody to help you pay for your ticket. But don't miss it. See you on the 23rd.
And all I am going to say is maybe you want to check that fine young lady or that fine young gentleman who you used to have your eye on at States, and you can have a reunion at the October 23rd event, right? But remember, you must register at www.stetsdiamondreunion.com. Click on register, select the New York virtual dinner dance, and contribute $60 to your alma mater. So we wait to see you then.
Hey, Donovan, you don't seem like you're a recruit. You're sending them to make some more states, baby.
I'm recruiting you to get more folks to go to www.stetsdiamondreunion.com. We're on a mission for October 23rd, and it's by any means necessary.
Boy, I see it, when Wallaby, I think Wallaby be the leader sooner or later down in the late 20s, 30s. By then, when them baby start by them states baby, I can tell Wally what happened, Donovan tell us if you come in, rope in, meet them all back from them there, they're rekindle. Well, guys, you know how it goes. States, it's all about the fun. It's all about our personality. Wherever we go, we recognize people see us, and they don't see us for the bad. They see us for the good things that we bring, the positive energy. And we just ask, that wherever you are out there, that's Stetsonian, or even just someone who have a son, a daughter going to Stets, I say this is something that you want to be a part of. This alumni group, it have so much that we can do together, and as this program would say, together we rise, building our nation. Together we rise, building Stets, and that's all I want to say. Support the event, support everything that have to do with Stets and even your community. And that's just a way to give back. It's always good to give back, guys. So that's my little part. So, guys, I want to thank you all for coming on here. We want to thank our audience and our viewers who have watched it. And we ask that you guys just share the broadcast too. And guess what? Reach out to another Stetsonian, let them know what is going on. You know, let them know that there's a big party coming up, and we all gotta be there.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So
Yeah, thank you, Ian. Appreciate you, man.
yeah, man, it's all good. You know, work on integrity.
Work and integrity indeed. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
blessings.
sir. Take care. Blessings.